Good morning. Oh, that one's dead. Let's see. Let's see if anybody shows up. It's always a crapshoot on this early on a Sunday morning. I'm just melting the tips off of this paracord so that it's ready whenever I cord up some other stuff this morning. We're going to start with some vampire steaks. And then got some not Nightwing, Ninja Hambo sticks to cord up. And then I've got some Tenarashi and stuff I need to get corded up. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Sunday Finishing Work. I want to have little strands of paracord all over this desk. Let's see. All right. That is done, son. Now I just gotta get all this mess out of my way so I can start working. Let me go trash this. I'll be right back. Oh, one of these days I will remember to get a better chair in here. Good gracious. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Sunday Finishing Work. I got some vampire steaks we're going to cord wrap the handles on first, because man, I am selling vampire steaks about as fast as I can make them right now. Spooky season is in full effect. Especially these poplar steaks have been selling like crazy, so I had to make a bunch more this weekend. Maybe, if I'm lucky, well, I don't know how to call that luck that I don't sell out of them again. And keep selling out of these, which not really a complaint. I'm glad I'm selling out of them because that's what I usually want to have happen around this time of year. Spend the whole year beefing up my inventory with vampire steaks. And I still end up having to make a bunch of them when Halloween season rolls around. I just got 3 of these to cord wrap this morning. And I got a big fence post steak style steak that I'm going to cord wrap. And I got some Hombo I'm going to cord wrap the ends on. And I've got some Tessin. We're going to cord the loops in. And a couple of Danbong / Yawara I got to cord up. Everybody comes in and takes a look at leaves. That's all right. Not exactly the most exciting thing to be watching on a Sunday morning. Hey, it's funny. Most people, they come to my lives and they're either like, cool, what is this? Or they're like, why are you doing this? Like, I've ruined so many people's day, apparently, by going live with what I do. I'm not trying to ruin people's day. It just seems to be what happens. Morning, everybody. I got some vampire steaks. I'm cord wrapping the handles on. If you got any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. Or let me know what you're up to this fine Sunday morning. Oh, my back does not like this chair. I need to get a proper chair for this workstation. I just have a little stool, like a camping stool that I sit on, and not quite doing the trick. I've been telling myself for months I was going to get a new chair, and I keep forgetting. Maybe by Christmas time. There we go. And got a good vampire hunter steak. These tend to be my most popular ones. I have like 3 different versions of these that I sell on the shop. They tend to be my best sellers, mostly because they're inexpensive and they look fairly good. So they usually sell for people doing Halloween costumes as like vampire hunters and stuff. I've had an amazing number of Buffy the Vampire Slayer cosplayers this year. I realized recently that's because they're bringing back Buffy the Vampire Slayer in the near future here, so People are back on the Buffy thing, which is awesome for me. I'm glad for that. I love Buffy the Vampire Slayer. What's y'all's favorite Buffy? Hey, what's going on, TK? Elevate. What's y'all's favorite Buffy the Vampire Slayer? Christy Swanson or Sarah Michelle Gellar? What do you guys think? I'm a big Christy Swanson guy myself. I liked the original movie. It was campy and ridiculous, but I absolutely loved it. I love the series too, don't get me wrong, but I would say Christy Swanson's my favorite Buffy. Prove me wrong. I think the reason I like Christy Swanson's Buffy is that, like, you got to see more of her, like, training to become the Slayer instead of her just suddenly being the Slayer, which I thought was cool. Plus, you had, I think it was Donald Sutherland was in it, which I'm always a sucker for Donald Sutherland, because no matter what role Donald Sutherland is playing, he looks like he has just recently lost his mind and he's getting used to being insane. This seems to be kind of his default status, which I absolutely adore that about him. Like, if you look back at, like, his older stuff in, like, the 70s and 80s, he played some crazy roles. But he does crazy really well. Yeah, did not give myself enough slack apparently on this. And if you got any questions about what I'm doing, feel free to drop them in the chat. I'm just cording up this vampire steak. I got one more of these poplar steaks, and then I got a big Haas steak. It's a fence post steak that I'm going to wrap the handle on. I had an interesting piece of wood that got donated to the shop. It's been kind of nice. I'm working in home renovations these days, so I'm on job sites a lot, and a lot of times they have cutoffs and stuff that they're gonna just toss, and so they let me have it for the shop, which is awesome. So I love to work with reclaimed wood instead of watching it go to the dump or get turned into mulch. There we go. One more. And then we're moving on to the big steak. Oops, there we go. All right. Hopefully that's enough for this one. And I'm alone again. I'm alone. There's no one here to guide me. I'm alone. There's no one to deride me. What's up, everybody? Sorry for the singing. Just getting this vampire steak corded up. Then I got some other stuff to get done this morning. I realize this is an ungodly hour for anyone to be awake, so appreciate anybody who pops in at 7:30 a.m. on a Sunday. I figure most people are either up way too late or up way too early. But if you got questions or you just want to tell me what you're up to, drop them in the chat. And if you like what you see, drop likes, subscribes, all that jazz. Terrible. I always forget to say that. Everybody like, you never tell people to like and subscribe. I'm like, I didn't realize I needed to tell them. I figured they would just do that if they wanted to do that. But apparently I'm supposed to say it. You know what? Great news. I've lost like 10 pounds, which is awesome because I can fit in my Flash Gordon shirt again. I had gained a little bit of weight. And my Flash Gordon shirt was too tight. And I've lost a bunch of weight lately. Because apparently working in construction is a great exercise plan. Ooh, it's almost there. Last roundabout. There we go. All right, peeps. My vampire steaks are done. Well, these vampire steaks are anyway. Oh, I forgot to fray off the ends on these. Fray off the ends. All right, those are done. And I got this bad boy. This is a, calling this one the fencer. It's not really a fence post, but it looks like one. And it's got a nice little pyramidal tip on there, very sharp. So we're gonna cord up the handle on this. I think I'm just gonna stick with the natural jute cord for this one. But definitely gonna need to pull up some slack. All right. But yeah, this one, this is gonna be another one-of-a-kind steak because I do not have any other wood for this one. This one's just so one thing with some of my steaks, a lot of times the wood is something that I was just kind of came across for reclaim. I usually reclaimed wood for my steaks a lot, and so some of them I can make a lot of, some of them I can't. Some of my steaks are just one-offs, and this one's probably going to be a one-off. Oh, this handle's going to take a while. This is a long handle on this one. Well, I bet if you guys had 3D glasses, that would look cool as hell. It's like it's coming right out of the screen. If you got any questions, drop them in the chat, or if you just want to tell me what you're up to this Sunday morning, either of those. Tell me where you're at, what you're doing, where you're from, all that jazz. Why you're up at this ungodly hour on a Sunday. Oh man! Oh, also by the way, guys, right now everything at my shop at Warrior Wooden Props on eBay is 15% off. It will stay at 15% off until October 1st. On October 1st, it will move to 13% off because that's always what I do for October. So October will be a 13% off sale. But right now, everything is 15% off. So if you see anything you like, now is definitely the time to get over to Warrior Wooden Props and get your stuff for spooky season. I always run a bigger sale in September, so that way my early birds for Halloween get what they need. But in October, I reduced the sale to 13%. So but if you got any questions, stick them in the chat. Or let me know what you're up to. I finished this steak, and then we're gonna move on to these Ninja Fight sticks. I'm gonna cord the ends of those. Oh, actually, after I do this, I've got to go wipe down. I've got some stuff in tung oil this morning. I got to go wipe down. I got a Musashi Ore Boken. I sold out of those last week, all of them, and I only had the wood and time to make one this weekend, so that'll go up on the shop later today. But it got its second coat of tung oil this morning, and I need to buff it out. Buff the wood. If you understood that reference, you probably have back pain. Buff the wood. Buff the wood. Buff the wood. That's from a Pauly Shore movie called The Son-in-Law, which I am embarrassed to say we watched in my house when I was growing up so many times. My mother, for some reason, absolutely adored that movie. I'm not sure why, but we watched it a lot. Definitely not Pauly Shore's greatest film, but it was up there. It was no Encino Man, you know. Yeah, I know. Pauly Shore never got like nominated for an Oscar or anything. I wonder why that it was. But at least it was better than Biodome. Biodome was pretty bad. And what was the other one? The one where he was in the army. That one was terrible. Oh my god. I think it was him and Andy Dick joining the army, which is weird. Oh man, my back's not happy with me this morning. Oh, I've got to get a better chair. And man, I think I maybe made this handle too long. I probably could have save myself some headaches if I had made the handle a little shorter. This is taking a while. This sort of cord wrap, I love it because it's easy to do. It looks good. It leaves a good grip. But man, is it time consuming. But the upside to it is that it's not hard to figure out. So if somebody has a mishap with something and they need to replace the cord wrap or fix the cord wrap, it's not hard for them to figure out how to do that. But we're getting close. I see the light at the end of the tunnel. Almost there. Stay on target. Stay on target. Star Wars. Sorry, I feel like I'm being a little bit random this morning. I apologize for that. Oh, good gracious. My feet feel really heavy today too because I'm breaking in a new set of work boots. They are heavy. I had to get a composite toe because, like I said, I'm working in home renovations now. I think a couple more passes and this will be good. One more. Yeah, one more. There we go. One more and we're good. There we go. That's it. And we're good. Almost done with this one. I like it tight enough. Oh, yes, I did, right? No, I didn't. Shit. Shit. Didn't get it tight enough. Hang on. Ah! And of course that happens. God damn it. All right, hold up. We're gonna have to rework the plan here. There we go. I think one more. 3. That should be enough of a handle, I think. Oh, shit. Oh, I don't want to have to restart this. That took a really long time. Well, folks, shit. I gotta restart. Sorry. I know. Sorry. The string broke, and now, unfortunately, it was the anchor string, so nothing to be done for it but to start over. God damn it. Ah! All right, let me move all this over here. Well, shit happens. Well, that sucked. How are y'all's morning going? God damn. That's the first time that's happened in a while. Must have been a weak point in the jute cord. Sometimes that happens when you're using natural fibers stuff. Sometimes there's just a spot where the fibers didn't quite get spliced together well enough. But I'll set this off to the side and reuse it for other projects later. Because that's not going to be long enough to do the handle. All right, we're starting over, folks. I am so sorry. Really don't want to have to do that again. But you can't always get what you want. But if you try sometimes, you just might find you get what you need. Man, I am random this morning. What is my deal? I took my ADD meds, right? I'm pretty sure I took my ADD meds. I'm like 95% sure I took my ADD meds this morning. I have, because I have ADD though, apparently I can never be 100% sure of anything. 95% is about the best I can get. Oh, you know what I did forget to take this morning? I just realized I forgot to take Tylenol. That's why my back hurts. It's also, I need to keep taking Tylenol so I can get the tism. You got to take the Tylenol so you can get the autism. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But anyway, yeah. I take Tylenol every day, by the way. Like twice a day, every day for years because of back pain. And still not autistic, folks. So just letting you know. Years of Tylenol. Still no autism. None of my kids are autistic. Despite the fact that I have taken Tylenol. And their mothers took Tylenol. So, good times. Sorry, I didn't mean to get political there. Even though I'm not sure that's political, to be honest with you. I don't think, I definitely don't think Tylenol causes autism, though. That seems a little iffy. All right, let's pray that this time this jute cord holds together, because I do not want. I swear to God, if this breaks the second time, we're just doing hockey tape. That's it. We're doing hockey tape for the handle, because I'm not doing this a third time. I'm just going to take that as Spate's way of saying, no, you should use the hockey tape. Morning, everybody. If you're just joining us, this is Sunday finishing work at Warrior Wood and Props. I'm working on some vampire steaks right now. I got some fight sticks, some Tenarashi tested, and Yawara and stuff to cord up this morning. So if you got any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat, and I will gladly answer them. Or if you just want to talk about yourself, I'm also cool with that. It's always fun to learn about people. Oh, we're about halfway there. Yay. I feel like it's going a little faster the second time around. The first one was just a practice run. The cord broke when I tried to do it the first time. That was not fun. Is anybody out there? Eh? I got one person. Yeah. Oh, I have my glasses back on. I was wondering why I was having trouble focusing. I'm now at that weird age where, like, if I have to focus at different distances, I have to take my glasses on and off. Close up, glasses come off. Far away, glasses go on. It's a weird thing. I have bifocals, but they don't seem to do much anymore. Probably means I need to get new glasses, but for right now, I have neither the time nor the money for new glasses, so I'm just gonna have to have mediocre eyesight for a little while. Like, it's not bad eyesight. Like, I could see, not dangerous to drive or anything, but it's little stuff like focusing up close that doesn't seem to work with my glasses anymore. I got old eyes. I got old everything, to be honest with you. Old back, old knees, old eyes. Nobody warns you though. I don't know why they don't. No one warns you that like from the age of 30 to 50, your body just slowly turns on you. Each year there's new stuff that you have to contend with. Yeah, knee issues and hip issues and back issues and stuff stops healing properly or as quickly as it used to. It's a pain in the ass. Getting old sucks. But everybody's doing it. Also, if anyone has any questions about vampire hunting, oddly enough, I actually know quite a bit about that subject. I guess it's not that odd considering I have like the largest selection of vampire hunter steaks in the world, probably, compared to others. I don't know of another shop that carries more types of vampire hunter steaks than I do. But yeah, if you have any questions about proper vampire hunting, I have quite a bit of useless information stored in my brain on that topic. So, all right, I think one more round and we're good. There we go. All right, stay together this time, shoot cord. Don't you do this to me again. Stay tight, stay tight. There we go. Stay tight, yay, stay tight this time. And it didn't break. That's always nice. There we are. That's fun. So now, that's a nice big old vampire hunter steak. It looks like it was made from a fence post, which is what I wanted. All right, I put the stuff over here in the finished project area. Oh man, my legs. Oh, why are my legs hurt? Why does everything hurt? Why am I so old? All right, I gotta buff this wood. Give me 1 second here. Oh wait, I gotta clean my hands first because I was just holding stuff with stain on it. Yeah, of course, my usual crowd's not here this Sunday. I guess, I don't know, maybe everybody's got stuff to do. Usually I have people in here by now, but this morning it doesn't seem like I do. Hey, what's up everybody? Hey, wiping my hands off here so I gotta buff some wood. And this This is one of my Musashi Ore Boken. Sold out of these last week. I had an Odachi / Tachi style one that was 48 inches long. This one's 40. This is a standard size. Sold out of all of them last week, so decided should make more, but I only had time to make one. Hopefully next weekend I can make the rest. Oh, then I got these. These are donbongs. They're used in Hapkido and some Korean martial arts. It's my version of a donbong. It's kind of a hybrid of a donbong, a Korean donbong, and a Japanese yawara. It's multicultural, folks. Because I am nothing if not multicultural. But yeah, these donbongs. So the difference between a yawara and a donbong is the donbong for Hapkido, it's a lot wider. Sometimes it's flat, sometimes it's more like a baton. But it's supposed to be more like a fighting stick. You do have the butt end here. That's what I added to it so that you have kind of a striking end on the back. So it's like a Korean donbong with a little bit of a yawara add-on to it, plus the palm anchor, which we're gonna do here in a little bit once I finish these fight sticks. But I gotta buff all this stuff off first to make sure the tung oil doesn't have any bubbles in it while it finishes curing. These are Tenarashi. They're a type of Japanese war club. They were used by daimyo and samurai for disciplining their subordinates, but also just as a tertiary defense weapon. They made to look like a folding fan because they would hit their subordinates with folding fans, but sometimes folding fans break. In fact, then folding fans were not cheap, so they started making these Tenarashi, which I think Tenarashi just literally means like practice stick or something like that. It's not anything special, but where they could smack people around with these and still look like they were using their folding fan. And sometimes the Tessin version of these are made out of iron. You can make them out of just about anything. Wood, iron. I've even seen them made out of plastic, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan of stuff like this made out of plastic. Just got a couple more of these to buff out. And where is everybody this morning? I got nobody in here this morning. That's the purple heart one. All right. Those are all done. Right there. All right. Now, let's see. This. That is okay. Now I gotta get more of this black paracord out so I can do these fight sticks. Oh my God. What have I done? Why is this paracord all over the place? So happy. Like, I have a spool of this that I'm going to start using once I get through this group of paracord, but I gotta get through this first. The spools are way easier to work with because you don't have to deal with tangles. So, very much looking forward to doing that. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, good God. Here we go. They don't do a very good job when you buy them in small amounts. When they put them in the bags, they don't really do a very good job of making sure that they're wound properly so that you're not dealing with constant kinks and knots. This is a pain in the tuchus. Not sure why I said tuchus. One, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh, good gracious. That might do it. I think that'll get the knots out. All right, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yay! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There, go. What happened here? All right, there you go. 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20. All right, kick that over there. Oh, what's up, everybody? I got some fight sticks I gotta cord the ends on. What's everybody up to this morning? I'm bored as shit over here. Nobody's talking this morning. Somebody say hi or something. Give me something to do other than talk to the air. This is boring enough. All right, let's see if that bottle is tanked or not. So the reason I sell these with the ends corded like this is for two main reasons. One, it gives us the striking surface, the main striking surface for these kinds of sticks, a bit of protection. So you're less likely to get cracks and dents. The paracord's really good at absorbing the impacts. And the other thing it does is it gives you something to grip when you're holding one end of the stick. And the adhesive is mostly there just to keep everything tight while I'm doing this. It's a friction fit once it's done, but the adhesive helps me make sure it stays super tight, and it helps me make sure that that friction fit is as tight as it can possibly be. The adhesive doesn't really hold it to the wood. All it really does is while I'm doing this, it holds it in place so that it doesn't loosen when I have to adjust. Because I do not want these coming loose when someone's using them. Never a good time to have your cord wrap come loose. But like my Boken, these, like everything else that's used for combat in my shop, these are guaranteed. So if you get them and something gets effed up with them, you can let me know and I will replace them free of charge. You don't have to return them, or I will refund your money, whichever one you prefer. One more time. But that is true of all the practice weapons in my shop. Everything in my shop, if it's used for sparring or combat, anything like that, if it breaks when it should not break, I will always replace it at no cost to you, because my stuff should not break. And if it does break, it's usually a fluke. I've only had that happen once in 3 years, so if that tells you anything. I have that guarantee, and I've only had one person ever cash in on it. And it turned out the guy that I had to replace, he had some wasters and Boken. It turned out he was smacking them against a steel practice dummy that was like embedded in the ground in concrete. It had no padding on it. And I'm like, dude, like even a steel sword would break if you're doing that. Like I make my stuff durable, but it's not invincible, not unbreakable. You know, there's no such thing as unbreakable. But my stuff's about as close as you can get to it. Because every step of the process, I am careful with things that if you buy a mass-produced machine cut practice weapon, they don't give a shit about. Like wood grain. They don't care what the wood looks like. They just toss the wood into a machine and it cuts it out and kicks it out on the other side. But I pay attention to wood grain. I sand it all by hand. And not these, but most of my weaponry gets a double tung oil coat. And if it's a Boken or waster, the striking surface and the tip get a full tung oil immersion to make sure they are as durable as possible. Unless sometimes for like my Boohurt Armored Combat guys, they don't want tung oil. Sometimes for them, they want mineral oil immersions instead. So I need some coffee. I don't know about you guys, but fucking tired this morning. So what's everybody up to, huh? Don't make me sit here in silence. It's uncomfortable. do that. What's up, peoples? Oh, man. So, I got one more of these Hanbo to cord up. I sell these in pairs, by the way, so this is all one set. And once I get done with these fight sticks, all I've got is some Tessen Tenarashi. What are they called? Gunsen Gata Tenarashi, I think is what the proper name is. I keep calling them Tessen because apparently Americans, that's what they seem to be calling them for some reason. Tessen is actually incorrect in Japanese. The word Tessen, the te, the part refers to iron. So tets is iron. So a Tessen is actually an iron fan. That's its own thing. A Gunsen Gata or Tenarashi is the one that's made of wood or some other substance. Tessen is specifically referring to one made of iron. But I tried listing them as Gunsen Gata Tenarashi, and people didn't know what the hell that. Or I tried to list them as Gunsen Gata Tenarashi, and they weren't getting any traffic. So I added the word Tessen, and suddenly everybody found them. So apparently, people in the U.S. think those are Tessen, which is okay. Most people in the U.S. don't know basic Japanese, which makes sense. Not exactly a commonly spoken language here in the U.S., except among anime fans, probably. I know what you're thinking. Is he an anime fan? Yeah, kinda. Right now, the one I'm watching is Hajime no Ippo. It's a anime from like the early 2000s, I think late 90s maybe. It was a boxing anime, which is pretty cool. It's on Netflix if you want to check it out. It's actually pretty good. I really like it. It's a little weird in some spots culturally because it's a very Japanese anime, I think. So there's some things that I think some Americans won't get. Unfortunately, I miss the days of like pirated subtitles that you would find on like YouTube, because back then, like if you were watching like amateur done subtitles on like a pirated YouTube episode of some anime, if there was something in there that was linguistically weird or something that maybe linguistically like was specifically a Japanese thing, they would explain that in the subtitle, which was great. It helped you kind of understand what they meant by things they were saying or doing, and it helped the jokes land and all that stuff. But Netflix, they don't do that. They just, and a lot of times they get their translations wrong. It drives me nuts. I mean, my Japanese, I'll be honest with you, it's not good these days. Like, I have not really practiced it very much, but I know enough to know that a lot of their translations are off. One of my favorite ones, when I was watching Naruto back in the day, I was watching a DVD, and it had subtitles. I'm watching it in the original Japanese. And there's a moment where like Kakashi's standing next to Naruto and Sasuke and Sakura, and somebody throws a whole bunch of like kunai at them, and he grabs Naruto and Sakura and says "Shimata" and jumps into the air. And the subtitles were like, said, "Look out." Shimata does not mean look out. It means oh shit. Kind of. It's the easiest way to, it's kind of the closest equivalent. And I worry that like there's a bunch of Naruto fans walking around Japan saying Shimata when they mean look out. That's not really what that means. All right. One stick down. And don't worry, the guy behind me is not a ghost. That's the guy that runs the shop next door to mine. In case anyone was worried that my shop was haunted. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, there's nobody around today. I usually have some usual suspects who show up on Sundays, but I don't see any of them this week. Or at least if they're here, they're being quiet and hanging out in the background. One of those two. But I get it. Not exactly the most exciting thing to be watching on a YouTube live is a portly middle-aged man cord wrapping practice weapons and talking to himself. Not really super duper exciting. To be honest, I mostly do this for me because this part of my work can get a little tedious and a little boring, just constantly doing the same cord wraps over and over again. So it gives me a reason to talk. I used to listen to music, but that can only help so much. Now we got one more end of this last fight stick, and then I just got a few things to cord up after this, and we're gonna be done for the day. We might make it in under the 90-minute mark this week. It usually takes me about close to 2 hours sometimes to get everything done, but this week looks like we're gonna get done a little earlier than normal, which is good for me. I need a break. I need to go home, eat some lunch, get some groceries, watch a bad movie. That's my favorite thing to do on a Sunday. If you go to my link tree on my bio, my Instagram is on there. That's where I do my bad movies at. I don't do them on YouTube. I mostly keep the YouTube channel for my shop stuff, but on Instagram, I review a bad movie almost every Sunday. And again, I don't do it really for anyone but myself, so because I am the kind of person who laughs at his own jokes. Indeed I am. So that's how punk rock I am. Say I go home, usually I try to pick a bad movie from I try to stick to the 80s and 90s, every now and then the 70s. I feel like bad movies these days are not as awesome as bad movies once were. Because these days I feel like if you make a bad movie, all they really do is just fall on CGI. Bad CGI, and sometimes these days the one thing I hate the most is the ironic bad movie where they go into it and they're like, so we're gonna make a bad movie as a joke, right? Like that. I don't know. I don't find that interesting or funny. The reason I don't find it interesting or funny is that the thing I love about bad movies is when you watch a film and you can tell that someone put blood, sweat, and tears into a film and still managed to create a steaming pile of garbage. That is my favorite thing in the world. And the other thing I love is when sometimes I'll find a bad movie, it's got horrible reviews and stuff like that, and I'll watch it and it turns out to just be a freaking gem. Sometimes that happens and it's amazing. When you go into a bad movie expecting to just be miserable and then you end up loving it, that's my favorite. That is the best. Doesn't happen very often. I haven't figured out what bad movie I'm doing this week. Yeah, I think there might be some knots. Let me make sure everything's out. Yeah, we're good. Okay. What's up, peeps? Just doing this last Ninja Hambo stick. And then we're moving on to the Tenarashi and the Gambang Yawara. And then I am going to be done for this weekend, which is awesome. I can go home and be lazy. It's pretty much the only time I get to be lazy is Sundays, Sunday afternoons, late morning and afternoon on Sundays. And even then, I'm not completely lazy because I have to go home, put stuff up for listings on the shop that's new, all that jazz. And order groceries, and I don't have to do laundry. I did laundry yesterday when I got home from the shop, so at least I don't have to do that. Oh shit. I hate when I get cyanoacrylate on my hands. There we go. Make sure it's even, or at least mostly even. All right, there we go. It's off. Ohayo Jakabe! Ohayo gozaimasu! You missed it. We were talking about bad anime subtitles earlier. That I was watching a Naruto anime once, and they translated Shimata as watch out, which not at all what Shimata means. And I was talking about Hajime no Ippo, which is the anime that I'm currently trying to get through. I try to do one anime at a time because I don't really have time for much these days. The nice thing about like anime is that usually they're 30-minute episodes, so when you watch them on streaming, if you don't have commercials, it's usually like 20 to 22 minutes actually of episodes. So it doesn't take me nearly as long to get through an episode. I can kind of get through one each day. Oh, the Jagafe, it's been boring this morning. Haven't had really anybody in here. I don't know what's going on. Well, all my usual suspects didn't make it on this morning. I don't know what's going on. I think there was a party last night. Was there a party last night and I missed it? Did I not get invited to the party? Were all you guys at a party and you didn't invite me? What happened? Why wouldn't you invite me? I'm cool. My mom says I'm cool. My mom says I'm the coolest. And my mom knows what's cool. But if you like what you see, drop a like or subscribe. That would be awesome. If you got any questions, drop those in the comments. I'm finishing up this last Ninja Hanbo. And we got a few more things for me to get knocked out this morning. These last few projects shouldn't take very long because they're pretty simple. Is that tight? Yeah, it's tight. All right. Go. All right. Let's see. These are done. Don't really have room, but yep, good to go. Let's just test the other side. Yep, everything's right and tight. All right. Now start bringing over the non-stained stuff now. I have to even wash my hands or wipe my hands off real quick. Hey, good morning, Samantha. How you doing? And you can just call me Nathan. You don't have to call me Mr. Warrior. although I might change my last name to that. That's pretty cool. I would be Nathan Warrior. That would be awesome. And then, yeah, then people could call me Mr. Warrior. And then if I got knighted, they could call me Sir Warrior, which would be awesome. I would feel really cool all the time. All right. Woot woot. So these are dambong. These are based on a Korean, kind of their form of yawara. But I added like a tapered tip on the back so you can back hit with it. I sold out of these last week, so I made a couple more. So the string goes in there, and then you put your fingers, your center two fingers through, and you've got a nice little baton slash palm stick that you will not drop because it is tethered to your hand. Cool name. Oh, thank you. That was my mother gave me that name. She's a cool lady. She gave me that name because according to her, like I said, I don't remember this, but according to her, I was a pain-free childbirth. She said that when she had me, I was the easiest delivery of all, me and my two brothers. She didn't really feel any pain when she had me. So Nathan means gift. Nathaniel means gift from God, but she named me Nathan because she said I was a gift because it was not a painful childbirth for me. Or for her having me anyway. Thank you, Samantha. I appreciate that. Yeah, I hope many people will too. Actually, many people have been. This is the beginning of the busiest time of year for my shop. Like September's pretty busy. October's going to be nuts because October is when everyone's doing the last minute Halloween shuffle. But I had one really cool Halloween custom order that unfortunately the guy that was doing it, he got laid off from his job like the week after he put the order in, so he had to cancel it, which sucked. I think I'm still gonna make it though. Does anyone call me Nate? Yeah. As when I was young, I went by Nate a lot, and so mostly people who knew me when I was young call me Nate. Or the other situation is sometimes you'll have two Nathans in a situation. So somebody wants to have somebody that's Nathan, somebody that's Nate. I'll usually go be the Nate because I don't mind being the Nate. I will answer to Nate or Nathan. I'm cool with either. But these are done. Those will go up on the shop today. Since I sold out of them, they're not up yet. But they will be. All right. These are my Gunsengata Tenarashi Tessen. That is a really long way of saying a Japanese war fan. War fan club. This one's Yellow Heart. I sold out of the Yellow Heart a while back. I didn't sell a lot of them, so I just made one. And I sold out completely of the ones that were made out of Padauk. So I made 3 of them out of Padauk. There we go, and they come with a little nifty wrist loop. These are used by people who do Kobudo, Tessenjutsu. I think some people in some Taijutsu use them, and traditional Japanese Jiu-Jitsu, they use them. And they just look cool. This one's Yellow Heart wood. These are Padauk, which I'm a big fan of this wood. I love Padauk. It's really cool. So fun fact about this, you see how it's kind of a light orange? So as the years go by, this will change colors. It starts to get darker. It goes from a light orange to a more like purplish, brownish orange. It's a weird shift. It takes, you know, years. So the darker Padauk is, the older it is. That's the easy way to figure it out. It doesn't change the properties of the wood. The wood's still good. It's just, it goes from being a lighter orange to a darker orange over time. That's why whenever I sell something made of Padauk, I try to send the darkest one first because... Oh, whoops. What did I do here? Hang on. Right over there. There we go. Screwed up my knot there. There we go. Because I have some stuff in my inventory that I didn't do that with, and I have some Padauk stuff that's really dark. I really like for the customer to be able to experience that, so I tried to send the ones that are going to change to the customer first. But every now and then, I have one that's just dark. It's going to be dark, so it does, like I said, it doesn't affect the properties of the wood in any way. But I think it's fun. That's 2. But if you got any questions for me, drop those in the chat, because after these Tenarashi are done, I think that's it for me. I think that's it today. That's all I got. That's all I can do. But if you're interested in anything you see on my lives, my link tree is in my bio. You can go to the eBay shop. I have a website, warriorwoodandprops.com. However, it's a Shopify site, and Shopify, I don't know what they did. I left for a month over the summer to go visit my son. When I came back, I could not log into my shop. It keeps telling me I need stuff from an authenticator, and the authenticator, I have the authenticator. The authenticator is not sending me anything, and I can't get a hold of a person from Shopify. And to be honest, if come November I have not gotten this figured out, I am just going to cancel my Shopify store and never use it again. Because screw that. And this one's Purple Heart, which is, honestly, of all the woods I work with, this one is my favorite. I freaking love Purple Heart. It is beautiful. It is strong. It's insect resistant. It's decay resistant. And it has this really pretty purple color. And man, it sands up nice. See how shiny? It's like glass. And it sands up so pretty. All right. Let me go put these over with the finished stuff. Oh. But if you are needing props for Halloween, if there's something you need that no, if there's something you need that that you can't find at Spirit Halloween, I am still taking custom orders for the next 2 weeks for Halloween. I think it's after the first week of October. That's the cutoff for customs usually for Halloween, unless it's something really simple. But that's usually my cutoff because I won't have time to make it and make sure it gets to you by Halloween. So, as that's the thing, I want to make sure. Not only, I mean, it's one thing for me to get it done before Halloween, but getting it to you before Halloween, that's what I want to make sure, because it's no good if it doesn't get to you by Halloween. So custom orders for Halloween, I'm already doing a few, but I've got room for a few more. So if people have stuff they need by Halloween for customs, let me know. Oh, oops. All right, well, people, I think that's it for me this morning. How many tattoos do I have? I think that last count I had 10, I think. I've got a cross on my chest. I've got this one, my No Regrets tattoo, which is the only tattoo I actually regret. That one. I have these, the little dragon here, my poorly done kanji and rebel on my arm. And my whole back is covered, but I'm not gonna show you guys my back. But I've got three tattoos on my back. Oh, and I've got the forearm tattoo. This one, I got this when I got out before I got out of the military. I got this. It says the evil we must fear is the indifference of good men. And the reason I got that is because when I was in the military, I had to do a lot of stuff that I was not proud of. And I regretted it. And I told myself that, you know, in that period of time, when I was in the military, you had to do what you were told to some degree. It was a lawful order. But I told myself once I was no longer in the military, I would never do that again. And so this tattoo is on my arm as a reminder that if I see something wrong, that I am not allowed to just stand by and do nothing. Yeah, I have several. I have my older brother died back in 1998. He was 23 and he died in a motorcycle accident. So I have a tattoo for him on my left shoulder blade. I have kind of silly little martial arts tattoo on my lower back, and I have a big, and this was a military era tattoo. I have a warrior angel holding a gun in the middle of my back with a line from an old Irish poem on it, that as the wicked stand confounded, call on me thy saints surrounded. No, I never have done my legs. Yeah, I've never done tattoos on my legs. That I thought about it, but back in the day, I had a period of time when I was a competitive kickboxer. Didn't last long. I wasn't great at it, and I used to have this concept. I wanted to get like iron plates tattooed on my shins. But everybody, I feel like back in the 90s, this is back in the 90s, early 2000s. I feel like every kickboxer back in those days was getting the iron plate tattoos on their shins. It was like I don't know if you guys remember the barbed wire, the arm barbed wire tattoos. It's so funny. Like, I remember when I got old enough for tattoos, that was one I thought I wanted, right? That when I wanted one of those barbed wire ones that went all the way around my arm. Until the first time I went to a party where there were like annoying ass dude bros at it. Like, all of them had that barbed wire. Some of them had it as like a bracelet. So like, and I was like, oh God, why does every douchebag in the room have a barbed wire tattoo? So that kind of turned me off to barbed wire tattoos. But I feel like you never want to get. My problem when I first started getting tattoos was that I would go into a tattoo shop, usually not sober, just open their flash book and be like, I want that tattoo, and I would get that tattoo. it wasn't until I got to about my early 20s that I realized that it sucks when you get a tattoo and then you see that same tattoo on a whole bunch of other people. Hey, what's up, Delilah? How you doing? So the one on my forearm and the big one on my back, those are both custom tattoos. And the one on my shoulder blade is a custom tattoo. But like my arms, the ones on my upper arms, those are all flash tattoos. Which pro tip, if you're a young person thinking about getting tattoos, do not get flash tattoos. Don't go in and just look at the binder and point to something and say, I want that. Don't do that. Don't do that, because one of these days you're gonna be in some kind of gathering and you're gonna see somebody you don't like and they're gonna have the same tattoo as you, and it's gonna bug the shit out of you for the rest of your life. I'll give you a great example. When I was in the Marine Corps, I was what's called a dragon gunner and an anti-tank assault and demolitionist. So the weapon that we fired was a dragon. So I got this tribal dragon because I thought it was cool. And then I realized later that every douchebag in the world had the same tribal dragon as me. What is that? What is what? What's my height? No, I'm not big. I'm not big. It's an optical illusion. I'm like 5'9". I'm not big at all. I'm not a big guy. I'm actually pretty average height. I'm like 5'9", 5'10", depending on what liquor store I'm running out of. But but no, I'm not tall. I'm not a big guy. I'm very stocky built. Like I have a stocky build, but I'm not a big dude by any stretch of the imagination. Like most guys are taller than me, which I'm okay with. The bigger they are, the harder they fall, as they say. But no, I'm not a big dude. Not at all. I'm only like 5'9", 5'10", maybe. But you get cleaned up here. This last bit of paracord, which I'm guessing will probably go with the Uwara stack, because I don't think it's going to be long enough to do any more sticks with, which is good, because now I can start using the big spool, which will be easier to work with. When you say what is that, what are you referring to, Delilah? Are you talking about the tattoos, or are you talking about something else? But anyway, let me put this away. And I think that's going to be it for me today, unless you guys got any other questions. I'm going to go home, order groceries, put stuff up on the shop, watch a bad movie. If you want to see my bad movie stuff, go to my Instagram. I'm NatRBrown37 on Instagram. There should be a link in my link tree on my bio here on YouTube if you want to go over there. If you like what you saw today, like, subscribe, all that jazz. If you are interested in anything you saw here, again, link tree's in the bio. Go to my eBay shop. If it's not already on the shop, it will be on the shop by the end of today. So, all right, peeps. Thanks for hanging out with me on this Sunday. I know that these Sunday finishing work lives are crazy early. I know they're way early for most people, especially on the West Coast. But I appreciate those of you who are here and hanging out with me, helping me be a little less bored. I know we didn't really have anybody when I started, but it looks like we ended with some people. Oh, thanks, Delilah. I appreciate that very much. Thanks for the subscribe. You take care and you have a great Sunday, okay? But anyway, thanks a lot, everybody. I'm going to get out of here. I'll talk to y'all later. Take care.